This was the article that they showed. And they did I think four newspaper articles on this here in Philadelphia. Daily News, Philadelphia Inquirer, tapped out. Now, I try not to offend anybody when I do these classes, you know, but I have to tell the truth. And that's a requirement of being a teacher. One thing I didn't like, the reason why I wanted to become a teacher when I was in school was because I didn't like the fact that I had teachers lying to me, especially about my ancestry, which I don't like. And I was in early childhood education. I wound up going into behavioral health human services, and I wound up becoming a freelance teacher, so I worked everywhere. So I seen everything. Interesting enough, they have tapped out on the front cover, right? I'm not going to mention what's in the front cover, but I want the people in TV land, viewer land to see that this is the mentality. I don't think y'all can really see what that is. Tapped out. Yeah.
Okay.
Broke. When we talked about these trick words, broke, okay? There's nothing broken about us. So, broke down. Broke. Broke back mountain.
Right.
See, all of these are key. These are codes. And I want you to see that we're dealing with spiritual forces. The book of Ephesians says, what was it? We battle not with flesh and blood, but we deal with principalities in high and low places. Okay, dark forces in high and low places. But this was the first article. And this should really have us have our wheels spinning. Is that Philadelphia is the most impoverished city in the nation. So this was the first one. Then I went there and I think I said I got either this is the third one or the second one. And it says, excuse me, totally academic. But of course inside they brought out the tapped out story again. And here it came again, loud and clear, Philadelphia. Okay? So yes, welcome to the Terror Dome. You're in it. How did it get this way? Where did it come from? How did it happen? First we have to define poverty. I'm gonna pass these around so everybody can see. This is a presentation of law. And I am bringing evidence. These are my key evidence, news reports, and records for the court of the people. Here you go. And I always ask people which one came first, law or instructions. That shouldn't be a thought. Which one comes first? Which one? See, that's a trick. Laws. Thank you. You have to remember the people who adopted your wisdom took everything that was matriarchal and flipped it. That's why they always show you a picture of an infant and a what? And a grown woman's arm, a male infant being suckled by a what? Older woman. What they're trying to tell you is that the real source of power is in the matriarchal system. They gave birth to a patriarchal kingdom. That's the trick. So in this culture, under Euro culture, you take and suppress the female energy and lift up the male energy. Most of the most powerful institutions, most powerful organizations, orders in the world, spiritual orders, venerate women. Women are always in the most powerful places, placed in high esteem. Only in places where you see poverty, you will always see the abuse of women. No matter where you go. And black or white, don't matter. If you see in ancient African cultures, people who hold on to their ancient customs, you will see the respect and love and cherishment of women. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay? So when I'm reading these books and I'm reading this stuff, I don't want anybody to say, oh, he's trying to get and proselytize Christianity or a religion on me. No, I'm not. You're already Christian. I don't have to proselytize anybody in anything. All these things are nothing but labels. You're already a Christian. You're already a Muslim. Whatever you want to call yourself, a Khan. You're all those things as African people. You're the first and the last. There's nothing you can be converted to. What can you be converted to? Nothing. Okay? So I want to put that out there to you. You're already masters. All you got to do is claim it. So Proverbs 6, these are the ones I'm reading. I'm going to read them for you. Now that we understand or comprehend that we are not reading a book from Europeans. I'm a student of also Ishaka Musa Barashenko. I am a direct student. The last in true and living. Okay? Meaning I keep the legacy of the temple of the Black Messiah alive. So I'm direct student. I know, I just sat on the side, no, literally, firsthand. Proverbs 6. Matter of fact, did I catch that right? Excuse me, family. Is everybody good? Okay. Proverbs 5. I'm sorry. That's what happened. I skipped. How you doing, Elder? How you feeling? It's good to see you. Proverbs 5, verse 8. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 8. If thou see oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Let me say it again. And see, the Bible is another little tricky one because they wrote it in Old English. Most people who study it, who think they can speak English, can't read the book, so they play a game on them. And once you learn how to decipher words and language, you can maneuver a lot better. If thou see the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter, meaning give no thought to it. Give no bewilderness, don't give no energy to it. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, meaning he, the force, the spirit, the creator, regards that matter. That matter is in the hand of the creator, of nature. And there be higher than they. And there's one who is higher than all those who think they are highest in the land. Nature is a defense. Wisdom is a defense. African people, being direct descendants of the Creator, first and foremost, when they get back into their natural mind, natural consciousness, will be able to transform the earth in the hour. Especially according to the teachings of my favorite teacher, the Honorable Marcus Musai Garvey, who I am a direct student of, and I'll explain that in another time. Proverbs 13, chapter 13, verse 18. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. Those who don't want to learn, those who refuse to take time out to study, are the ones, again, who are stuck in poverty. Our people, this is a deep one. The negative effects of slavery has been disregarding reading. This is going to sound crazy coming out my mouth, but I'll explain it. The fear of reading has damn near become genetic. It has almost become genetic. If you show a child, a young person, a book this thick, they're going to run. If you show them a book, probably even, and if it's on math or science or culture, and if it's this thick, they're going to run. And they've done something very, very, very slick. They got everybody on computer. That's great. You can find anything. I know I do. I find everything. Click, 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 click. Boom. It's right there, right? But the deep trick as a writer that I find through the years of my researching is that all of the older books hold almost all of the original scripts that people write their works off of. So if I get you away from reading books and I get you caught up in a digital format, if I'm the one designing the digital format, that means you can only study and travel through my digital format. When you hold a book and you put something into your eyes, right? You let those words or those pictures move through your eyes, it travels directly into your consciousness and then it connects with your subconscious. We have to pass on those tools to the younger people. That's what our ancestors told us to do. Pass it on. You can't take it when you leave. You're not going to lose anything from passing on a little bit of knowledge you got to them. But we refuse instruction. We refuse to return back to Africa. And that's not a physical return. The greatest return you can do is a spiritual one, because there's 1,000 people on the continent and half of them don't even want to be who they are. Sometimes that just blows my mind, but we'll go into that. We'll go into that in the future. Okay, let's finish up. I don't want to get caught going over time, and I know some people have to leave. Matthew 25. Matthew 25, Ecclesiastes 5 and 9. That's where I was at in the book. I was so ahead that I was like, oh, I can't. Ecclesiastes 5 and 9. And this is what I just read. Oh, 9. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 9. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself, that means those who are in rulership, the king himself is served by the field. Now, I'm a student of Freemasonry also, and Freemasonry is an African science. It's not a, oh my God, it's the Illuminati's over there on the other side of the cosmos. The biggest Masonic edifice and the basis of the teachings of edifying man and woman, the external science, the internal science of Freemasonry is African. It's not your enemy. It's not somewhere out there in the cosmos. You can put that stuff away. That's a scarecrow attack to keep you from knowing something about yourself. How can the pyramid, a symbol from your ancestors with your face on the wall, become the symbols of evil? Has anybody asked that question? Why is it that wherever your face is at is an evil thing? That may need to change. I think this is the hour of that change, isn't it? All societies who have ever sustained themselves past 2,000 years were agricultural societies. Rome fell because it didn't have its own agricultural system. It outsourced all its food from another country and other countries. Africa and Ethiopia, Egypt, in particular, those countries is where Rome got its food from. Your ancestors got all its food from the fields. Now, I brought up Freemason because in the story of King Solomon in Freemasonry and in the Bible, he let the workmen with his tools sit on his throne. Have you ever heard that part of the story? If you ever learned it, I don't know if you have. But he let a workman sit on his throne. He let an average bricklayer and chiseler and hammering man that forms the bricks to sit on his throne. In other words, what it says is, though you may be this high in the society, those who labor make the society. We've been taught backwards. Carter G. Woodson brings it up in The Miseducation of the Negro, and is also brought up in the teachings of Booker T. Washington. We as black people, so-called Negroes, have a construct in our heads that's been taught through slavery that we have to model ourselves after collegiate European structure, and that the concept of being a field hand or a person picking up a barrel or laying out the foundations of a house is primal and negative. A lot of us have been taught this, and to mold ourselves after the collegiate idea, right? And that was the worst thing that could ever be done to us. Because though we may speak good Latin and Hebrew and all the languages and can orate very well, you ask the average young black man or woman, particularly young black man, just to fix a doorknob, and he will look at you like you lost your, excuse my French, your damn mind. See? For something that simple. But everybody walks through a what? A door. Don't CEOs walk through doors? Yeah. Can you imagine one day you got to a door and it locked and there was no doorknob? You'd be kind of stressed out, wouldn't you? You'd be like, how the hell are you going to get in this door? Right? So, my point. The smallest, most simplest things, everybody still depends on. The rulers of this world still depend on the same thing that everybody else depends on. The profit of the fields go to everything born. And you African people, cosmic people. You have been growing food since the beginnings of time. You are the seeds that came from the heavens. You are what they call in the Dogon tradition, the Nomo Anagono. You are those people. You are the Kachina. You are the Orishas, children of the Orishas who came down the planet from the heavens and seeded into the waters of the earth and came up onto land and started life. And the first thing you did was you learned how to do what? Grow food. So no one is going to be supremer than higher or superior to anybody, to anyone. Preachers pick up this book every Sunday and go to pound on it. And I guess they missed that one. They missed these. It's something like you just missed those verses. There's all the verses to brainwash people is the ones they capture. You know, you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity, which is a bunch of crap. I heard you too, right on. So, you know, you're born and shaped in iniquity. No, you're born and shaped in perfection. Because if you are imperfect, then your creator is what? Imperfect. And that means your planet is what? Imperfect. If this is the construct that you're using. Mathematically incorrect. Right? So, there we are with that. So we went to Proverbs, we got that out the way, we got that with Ecclesiastes. Okay, I want to knock these out real quick. So we have the framework on the spiritual side to move with. Is that right? I always ask questions, is all right? Some people say, yo man, you're taking me too much into that religious stuff. I say, you know what? The problem is we don't have a spiritual foundation. I'm not trying to be religious at all, by no account. Everything I'm saying is based upon wisdom accounts. I just want the people in the audience, and particularly here, this audience, and the world, because they're watching right now. This is going all out. I want them to see that their grandmother's book sitting on that mantle, right? You ain't got to go far. You don't have to go far. You don't have to take one step outside of your house. You don't have to take a step out this house, the temple of your body, right? The temple of your spirit, which is the body. You don't have to take that far of a journey to see your power. You know? We're going to Matthew 25. Y'all all right with that? This is my favorite. Matthew 25, verse 14 through 46. Now, I usually read it. I'll read the first part, and then I'll finish it, because it's here. It's a story. It's called the parable of the talents. Can I erase this now? Because we finished this part. For the kingdom of Yah, the kingdom of heaven, is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made the other 5 talents. And likewise he that received 2 also gained another 1. So we know that the one that had 5 created 10. One who had 1 created 2. Right? But he that received 1, that's 1 talent, went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. And after a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5. Behold, I'll gain besides them another 5 talents more. Now let's break down this word talent. Talent. Black people, African folk, Nubians, are you out there? And to the rest of the world in the human family, or what they call human family, all the people of Europe, the family of Europe, the family of Asia and Africa, are you out there? Listen very carefully. The word talent has been one of the most misused words in the English language, or English tongue, because we know this is not really a language. A language is a pure communicational system that has no mixture of dialects, no mixture of, there's only really 5 languages on the planet. We'll go into that another time. But talent. Most people think this is talking about it's a extra ordinary ability used for, and I won't say entertainment. That's a whole other trick word. I'm very particular with certain words. If y'all notice, enjoyment. Enjoyment, ability used for enjoyment and trade, right? Commerce. I'll put that right there. That's cool? Yeah, I like that. Now, but in Old English, a talent is simply a coin or medium of exchange, right? Thank you, brethren. So, now, we as African people are the most talented people on the planet. There is nothing going on television unless you. I get a little raw sometimes, y'all. Just to keep this thing real. Black people, if black people asses ain't on television jumping around, if you're not talking, if you're not singing, if you're not building and you're not creating something, there is nothing to watch on television. And do you realize, please realize this, television has become and has always been, since it's been created, the medium by which the economy runs. It is become the new medium in the last, 60, 70 years? 50, 60 years, right? 50, 65 years, because television's been around for a while now. People think that television was invented in the 50s or the late 40s, but television's been around actually since the 30s and 40s. When you understand the technology, because all technology, if they release it in the 50s, that means they had it in the 40s. Okay? Now, it has become the medium by which to engage the public into buying, commerce, commercial, trade, okay? Now, every commercial has what on it? Music. And who's playing it? We are. Every sneaker commercial, especially in our generation, we blew the top off of it. Everybody born in the 70s and 60s blew the top off of the sneaker industry. Because if we wasn't making the songs, and all the rest of them, my Adidas walking on 25th Street, funky, fresh, and Alice Queens, right? And Adidas became a worldwide phenomenon. That sneaker, if it was doing okay, it did extra well after the album dropped, right? That's talent. That's hip hop. Hip hop started as a block party, as a house party, started as a basement party, started as a park jam, started with poetry and brothers and sisters playing their kungas and playing they disc behind the poet, and it grew into from $5,000 to $1 trillion, billion, almost damn near $1 trillion industry now, right? But New York and Philadelphia, and all in Los Angeles and all the boroughs in which this phenomenon was being born, the people are living in the worst conditions. And the music is starting to be used as a form of mind control. So now let's look at this parable, because I'm going to finish it up because that's a long parable. I don't want to read all of that. The one who received 5 made his 10. The one that received 2, right? Well, that made that 4. And the one that received 1 didn't do anything. Now, of course, you would say, well, man, if you just gave one dude 5 and gave me 1, what was I supposed to do with that? That's not the point. See, every parable has something a little deeper. Here's the hidden message in that. No matter what the universe has given you, no matter how small you think your ideas are, no matter how menial you think it is just as powerful as anything else. Don't look at the amount. Don't look at the quantity. That's how they trick people. As menial as we have been taught to be, or looked upon, or made to feel, cursed by God, black people are predisposed not to do math, all this crap that they've been teaching us for all these years, and it's over. All you have to do is change the perspective of how you see yourself. Are you feeling me right now? Because this is where we got to go. We have to interpret our own existence. The same thing I was talking about, that talent. You think it's small. Or, you know, brother, like sometimes I do music, right? And I'll be in a club. Yeah, I go to clubs. I'm a real person, right? I'm not holy and shining somewhere. I'm cosmic and I'll walk in a club. And I'm, right? And I'll walk in there and dance and perform. Why shouldn't I? What, God is out there and humans are down here? That's bullshit. That don't exist. That don't exist. That's angel fairy tale stuff that you've been taught in religion. Throw that stuff somewhere else. God is always present. Every nanosecond. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? You see the goddess. You see the God. You see yourself. You don't know that God exists until you what? Breathe. Okay? You wouldn't know that God exists unless you knew you seen creation. How do you know there's a creator? Because there's a creation. Very simple. So we're hearing now. But I hear cats talk about they do music. And they say, I say, yo, what's that? You got your CD right there, right? And then this is not personal. And I say, I'm like, yo, why don't you push that up a little bit more? Oh, man, I'm just going to perform, man. I said, yeah, but did you mention it? Or are you going to mention it? And cat don't even mention it. But put a whole lot of money into it. It's a waste of what? It's a waste of talent. And that's just a small example. There's trillions of those examples. There's sisters on the train who can make garments for everybody, clothing for everybody. There's babies who know how to learn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 languages. Right? All of this is inside of us. But for some odd reason, we have been living in what? Poverty. And see, now it's time to get into the bag. Now you want the meat? Now I can throw down. Did you get one of these, Bible? You got yours. I want you to go into the back. This is my copy. You got yours? Oh, you didn't get a copy, brother. And please, if you leave out, oh, this is my last copy. Hold on. Oh, well, nope, I got another one right here. Sorry. If you leave out beforehand, please, little young brother, come do something to me. I want you to go get the basket for me because this costs dough. Costs a lot of. You see, this is a lot of papers, right? And I made sure everybody got a copy, so I had to dig deep for this. So please, treat me good. Ask for a basket at the front counter, please. Thank you. It says deep poverty. Now, I bust this story wide open already on disc. Last summer, I did this lecture. Same lecture, right? Or similar lecture that I'm doing right now. Last summer. And I told everybody last summer, Philadelphia was the most, thank you, was the most impoverished city in the United States of America and in the country, right? Right? Oh, the newspaper article's over here. Then, this week, they came right out with it. They did 4 series of this in the newspaper. Okay. So, another brother did a whole video series on Philadelphia and the crime rate of Philadelphia. Right? You remember, I think it was a film a couple years ago where he was showing the murder rate of Philadelphia. Philadelphia has the highest murder rate, or close to the highest murder rate in the whole country. Now, from this conversation, we see why. It's self-perception. It's all self-perception. Poverty. To not seeing one's own personal power. That's it. It's based upon the use of talent. And what has happened in this country is suffering from a sin of its own behavior and its own activities. When you raise your children and your people not to have the knowledge of their own ancestry, to throw away their own cultural talent and abilities, it is part of black people's nature to grow food. It's a part of your indigenous nature to create and build off of your land and to sustain it and keep it producing for 10,000 to 20,000 years. Now I'm in my bag. Egypt, Kemet, everybody, all-seeing eye. Yeah, the all-seeing eye is Egyptian, is African. What about the all-seeing eye? The all-seeing eye is the soul, the spirit, your consciousness. You were able to live on the same land for 10,000 years and it completely always reproduced food. Let me say it again for you. You coughed on the truth. Right? You coughing on the truth. So here we go. To live. Let me say this again for you. To live on the same portions of land. Right? For 5,000 to 10,000 years. And that land continuously reproduces food for you to survive. And for everybody around you. That is magnificence. We didn't even talk about the pyramids yet. We just talking about the agriculture up and down the Nile. Because the people, the ancient Kemetans, Nubians, didn't just eat the food. So did the Sumerians. Right? So did the people in India. So did the people in Nubia. So did the people in West Africa. So did the people in the southern parts of Africa. We fed Europe just from the Nile. Right? Peace. I got it. Oh, brother, you got to move right here. Thank you. And you can't block that camera. We're filming right now. Yes, we are. Thank you. There you go. Got a front row seat. Cool.
That's cool, man.
You good. We fed the whole entire world. You fed the whole entire world. But let somebody else tell the story, and the Negro race is an inferior race of people. That inferiority complex has created poverty. We have been programmed to look at our indigenous ancestors, whether we are in this country in America or we are in indigenous Africa. We have been taught and trained to look back on indigenous people as something unintelligent, ignorant, and filthy and backwards. And because of that, we suffer. Nothing else. That's why I keep saying it's your own personal power and self-perception. Native American people have been here. Our ancestors, the Lenape, the Cherokee, the Seminoles, the Sioux, man, so many names I can't. The Aztec, the Mayan, the Olmec. That's just the central regions. Okay, give me some more. Y'all know. Give me some more. I ain't the only. Those are just some. East Coast and West Coast, right? Who've been here for thousands upon thousands of years and built pyramids. There's not one European scientist, right, who can identify and tell you how it was done. But these backwards primitive people, these people of color, these melanated people, right, built it. Before there was any such thing as a place called Rome. Today, these people live inside of the urban centers of America, the urban centers of Europe, the urban centers of Africa, Asia, and all over the world, and they are suffering from what? Poverty. The people of Europe, the European family amongst the world, are living in, and I say family because they're all still living and breathing on the same planet, and you're all dependent on the same water, so hey, you might as well get used to it. Welcome to life on Earth. They're suffering for the same reasons. Oh, don't get it twisted. Because see, Europe became enslaved to what? Religion. Religion enslaved Europe, right? Same way they mentally enslaved us with religion, they did it in England. They did it in Rome. Some of the most horrible, dirty, so-called ghetto conditions was already existing in Europe. They don't like to talk about it because, you know, you have to create the image that the great white race and everyone else is at the bottom. No, this is a mental sickness. And there's people who like to keep other people ignorant also, especially when they capture you. Because that's the only way to maintain order, because it's the fear, like the record says, of a black planet. And there should be no fear of a black planet. A black planet is heaven, which is Revelation 21. And now seen a what? A new heaven and a new earth. The poles of this planet is what? Shifting. So if the poles are shifting, that means your body, your cells, and your mind is going to what? Shift. But before all that shifts, you better get ready on some other level. You better help your heart and your mind shift. Here's the numbers. I'm coming to court, so everybody out there see it. I'm talking to the whole world. Europe, Africa, Asia, America, South America, the islands. I'm talking to the whole world. We're talking to the whole world. These are the numbers. And the 10 largest cities, U.S. cities, 10 largest U.S. cities, United States cities, Nearly 200,000 people in Philadelphia live in deep poverty, defined as an income that is under half of the federal poverty level, less than $8,000 for a family of 2, and less than $10,000 for a family of 3. That's a year. Are you with me? Now, how did that happen? This is the hour where you change. If you change the way you see things, the things around you will start to what? Change. How did God's holy children, the Creator's holy children, His most powerful people, who done been through heaven, hell, and high water, and everything else you could think of, end up in this? I tell you, if what scientists say is true, that your genes have a memory, right? Can I write this? Can I wake this up? We still in science, right? Everything good, family?
Yeah.
I know I can go long. I got 500 years to make up for, right? Right? There's something called gene memory, right? Peace, come on in.
Peace.
Y'all guys come on in here. Please. I got this package. Please get here, y'all. I can't go back. Well, I can go backwards, but it ain't good that I have to. Gene memory. And some people, this is their first time here in the class, so I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
All praises. That is the sequence of things that have happened. That is patterned in the sequences of DNA, right? And all of there's 4 acids, amino acids, right? Help me out now. Amino acids, base pairs, right? And you know, cytosine, guanine, thymine, and the rest of them, right? Guanine, thymine, adenosine, and guanine. I got them. There they go. Earth, wind, water, and fire. Okay, right? God's name. I got you. So, inside of that gene pattern, there lives all of the things you've ever accomplished. Well, if taking a 2-ton stone, I'm still baffled at this one. Y'all niggas crazy. I don't know how y'all do this shit. Y'all some people. I'm scared of y'all. The lightest stone of the pyramid is 2 tons. It is at the top. And when I try to move it, peep it. When I try to move it with a crane, what do you think gonna happen? Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, something gonna happen. You know what happened? The crane snapped in half. Now they take cranes and build high rises and all types of skyscrapers. The pyramids was the tallest building for a long time on the earth. You can still see it from outer space. When you go inside, you see brown folk, black folk, right? So the concept of doing something like that on earth is in your genes. What's going on with us? There must be some type of memory blockage. There must be something blocking your true essence, that your nervous system is not activating. Is that why they have us looking at TV? Because if you peep the generations, the more they introduce new technologies to you, the weaker you become. See, the radio generation was very well learned and had an imagination that was far beyond. And the people who was just in the book generation and the oratory generations, when men and women used to travel from city to city, from town to town, speaking, they had an even more vivid imagination. In fact, were borderline psychics. In fact, most of the information on psychic abilities was coming out in the 19th and 18th century. The old occult, that's why I say, go get the old occult books, right? So, what's going on with us? We won't turn the television off. You want to hear a secret about the television? You know who produced television? Oh, that's a good one. You actually are true. You're right. But I'll give you the name of the group. Oh, God. I need you to do something for me. Little young brother. I always call you Kia. There's a DVD in this stack right here next to the door called David Icke and Chris Everett. These are these European brethren. I want you to get those DVDs out and bring them to me. Right here next to the door, look down. Chris Everett, David Icke, The Illuminati Explodes. Lord, I hate these terminologies. The Psychic Research Foundation. You are the Illuminati, family. Let's get this through your head one more time. That's it. The original schools of the Illuminati was founded on the basis of alchemy teachings that were done in Europe's old world. Europe's old world was ruled by black women and men. You saved European people. I don't want people watching this either to get the concept that I'm just like poverty and black people. And that's only no. But it's interesting that poverty and being born black has become synonymous. If you say poor, and you must see what in your head. Isn't that sad? If you say ghetto, what comes to mind?
Black.
Black folk, Puerto Rican folk, right? Latino folk, and that's even that terminology. What the hell is that? Even the word black, that don't connect you to anything directly. It just is a state of consciousness, or is a color, or a shade. It don't connect you to a people, a place, and a moment. It's just, and black is not bad. I'm not saying that at all. But from the context that we're speaking of, there's someone playing a game with our memory. The Psychic Research Society, he speaks about it on Spirit World. That the very cathode ray tube, right? That they use to shoot the image onto the screen is a cross. It's a Maltese cross. This Maltese cross ain't got nothing to do with no crucifixions. The Maltese cross has something to do with targeting on your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, your third eye, your ajna. Okay? Now, so in other words, what I'm saying is that your creativity is being put to sleep. Your diet is putting you to sleep. The programming that you received, and I talk about this in every class, everybody wants to know why we can't break out, right? Why? You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I got bootstraps for you. You don't want to see what happens to people being pulled up by bootstraps? You know, that sounds nasty too. You prefer it. Anyway, yeah, y'all feel what I'm saying? These people are very perverted. Don't get it twisted. Oh, very much so. See, and that's another thing in this time period, getting everybody to vibrate on sexual perversion. Because if I get you to vibrate on sexual perversion, you won't be able to get to your next plane to take back your life. Now, I'm going to show you something. And how many people I got in here study psychology? Psychology educators, teachers, anybody? Brothers and sisters that just study period, because I'm one of them, right? I took psychology courses in college, okay. This is why black people are really going through. This is why a deceiver has been able to make poverty and being poor synonymous with black. That's end of the question, end of the discussion, right there. Because this is also part of what they call programming. Okay? Yeah, I just did something quick on the board. That is the essence of this problem. Psychic-based trauma and programming. And you can always find out a group of people who are programmed, because in this programming, let me use somebody. Come here. Let me show you how this is done. And they still do this to this day. You can sit right here. I'm sorry, I'm gonna move the chair up a little bit. There you go. Sit right there. Now, I'm not going to do anything directly to him, but I want y'all to use to see the image of a person. This is a person. This is a living young brother. Okay. What they would do to us, and y'all know about the beating and the beating and the beating, right? But nobody really goes into really what's going on inside. Let me put something else out there before I go on. Because this is how they got us to deviate. Oh, the young people are showing so much deviant behavior. I guess so, when you teach it to them. How do you know about deviant behavior? That someone what? Shows you. You 10 years old, 9 years old. What do you know about deviance? You 3, 4 years old. You bad. You better not do that. You being bad. Excuse my French. What the hell does that child know about being bad? They ain't been around long enough. That's why a lot of our elders tell us, don't call your children bad. Because the more you say it to that fragile mind, the more the fragile mind takes it in and says, I'm bad. And we'll do it more because you're giving them what? Attention. Thank you. The first rule, family, etymology. The word psychic means what? Let's see who. Nobody that's been in my class. Or no one that knows. The word psychic means what?
Mind.
Wrong. Thank you. The word psychic means mind. That's what most people are told. The word psychic don't.
Okay.
The word psychic. I needed him to say it for those in the camera because most people think the word psychic has something to do with mind. The mind can do whatever. The mind can say whatever. The mind is nothing but the translator. The mind is the intelligence of the soul. But the soul is most important. And the word psychic means soul. It does not mean mind. The word psychic, psyche, is Latin. It means soul. They played you. You went to college and you paid all that money and you ignored all your ancient African spiritual knowledge. You said, yeah, this has a lot to do why. And you ran to him and he gave it all to you, right? But let me drop something to you. All the people that created the concept and the framework of psychology are all mystics. I'm going in. I'm going in my bag and I'm chopping it down. Let's get the small axe, right? Psychic. Psyche means soul. Okay? So this is soul-based trauma. Truthfully. Now, you cool? First thing someone does when they want to do a reprogramming of a person, and this is what they do in all forms of interrogation and hurting people and everything else. You take him, they have another person watching. That's a form of abuse also. When you talk about mind control and reprogramming people, making children watch someone else get beat is a way to keep them from ever stepping over the line. When someone is beating someone, they're giving them instructions. During slavery, that's what happened. I want this to be seen. I want it to be known. And the instructions and what was happening during that time when the force was being driven in on a person, they were saying things. You ever see it? Don't you do that anymore. Family, that's slavery. Because that's what they did to us. As every painful strike comes, the pain is taken in and it hits the nervous system. The instruction or the command is being given to the organism to not do a certain thing. So every time they will commit to do a certain act, the memory of the pain would come back to them again. Are you hearing me? Are you feeling me? Are you catching on to what I'm saying? It's not that hard, right? Okay, so now you want to know why your family members can't dig it when you get into this African shit. Because I beat it out of you. Every time you would think of a thought that would make you feel good about being who you are. Pow! And so every time you bring up African knowledge, some older person, and usually an older person, will get the shakes because they feel that something painful about to happen. So you want to know why change can't come? Because you're fighting God. What's God? God is the natural intelligence that lives in every last one of us. But if I make you scared of who and what you are, then you will never get out of your condition. What the hell do I care about a good bank account? You don't like who you see in the mirror. Hell that mean? A bank account. We need to build wealth in the black community. No, black people need to feel good about themselves. Because with all other things come. Love of God, goddess, love of self equals success. Not love of money. There's a lot of people with a lot of money and they is about the dumbest shit. You got a lot of black men walking around, black women walking around with a whole lot of money. They asses stay inside that box, blaring in black people's face every day. But the conditions remain what? The same. Because if you knew what you were, you would not accept the bullshit. I know I can't no more. I'm getting tired of it. That's why I got to say something. This is psychology, family. Inflict pain and give a commandment to the living person not to activate their true nature so that you have a conditioned animal. That's what's going on. Every time a black person, indigenous Native American people, every time, European child for that matter, anybody refuses to let another person be who they are, they're already putting you in a state of hell. Poverty. So everybody want to know where poverty came from? Restricting people from being what God made them to be what you want them to be. That's the origin of poverty. I've been nice about it. You know, we want to talk about federal grants and incomes and use numbers and figures, right? But no, that's not the origin of it. It's not the origin of it. You must follow poverty everywhere he goes. Now, let me drop something real quick. Side note. There is something called food security. Does anybody know what food security means? Okay, a food security is basically the measurement of a population and whether they can provide fresh food, fresh water, and the essentials for survival. Philadelphia is a food desert. This is another environmental terminology. A food desert is a place where you cannot find fresh fruit and vegetables to eat, and usually can't find potable water to drink. What does that mean, potable? Meaning clean, clear drinking water. Most of the water we drink, of course, is coming from what? Tap. You already know. Don't need to explain, right? And as far as fresh food and vegetables, most of that is, you have to go how far away from your house? Miles. And don't tell me about the food in the supermarkets, because most of that food is what? Genetically cloned and modified. So when we talk about fresh fruit and vegetables, we're talking about things that are coming from organic seed. In Philadelphia, they have found out that there's only two sources of food for people: the supermarket and the corner store. Right? So if the supermarket and the corner store is the only place where people can find fresh food, then that means this place is a desert. Because if the supermarket closed, you what? Out of luck. And if you notice, if the supermarket ain't open, then you know the corner store is definitely not open. So there we are. Look like hunger and poverty are following us. Can we continue? I just needed to put that side note in there for y'all, so you can see the comparisons there. All right. Check out the move, how poverty and hunger attacks us.
When people are poor.
Yeah, well, that's what we had. Thank you, sister. I'm sorry. When people are poor, they struggle to get rich. Get rich or die trying. But when people are poor and hungry, they have not the strength to fight. When people are poor and hungry, they don't have the strength to what? To fight. And once a village is impoverished and starving, all the asogos, right, of the world, the troubles of the world, sickness, disease, war, and even myself, death, Iku, all of us can live there as well, and no one can drive us away. Together, the two of you can change the world and make it ours. What must we do? Poverty asked. Looking at hunger, hunger smiled back. Iku's voice was ethereal as she spoke. This tree, this Eruko tree, is the most ancient of its kind. Pacts are made here, vows that can never be broken. So they went to a tree. Now, brother, I'll wait till she gets the table. Wait, everybody gets the table out. Everything is good.
Thank you.
No problem. Trees are very sacred in African culture. And a tree is an eternal place to make a pact. Hug a tree. Buddha sits under a tree. You go get married under a... right? Tree, because a tree is an eternal place where memories can be stored. It's even rumored that when they took us from the shores of the continent, Africa. They took us around something called a forgetful tree. Okay? That's in the teachings of... You want to slowly? You can pick it up. You all right, man? You okay? So, these are some things to take into consideration when they start bringing up the Uruku tree is like a life tree. So, this is deep one. Everybody all right? All right, good? Small back. Okay. Made pacts are made here, vows that can never be broken. Swear together that the two of you will walk the world together and you will never be apart. Do this in any place. Now some of this is some of these pages might be lost, but we're gonna speed it up. You settle where you settle. Do this any place you settle will be yours. That's 72. 73. Okay. No one can separate you and no one can drive you away. Hunger and poverty agreed. They placed their hands on the ancient Iruko and swore that they would walk the world together, never parting. Something shimmered in the night around them. A great power came from the ancient Iruko and sealed their fate. You with me? You like this story? So far so good? Okay. Such was the power that even the Orishas felt it in heaven. It worried them. The Orishas, the Ori, is the heads. Shah is the power, the heads of power. The heads that rule the cosmos, the angelic forces, felt it. Even they felt the agreement going on in the heavenly realm. This is my favorite story. Because this is Philadelphia. See, when I read this story, all I can hear is Philadelphia. And there is a secret about Philadelphia within the actual design of Philadelphia. And the ancients, your ancestors, left it here for you. Right in North Philadelphia. They left you a very good key to unlock a doorway. Let me close that door. Thank you. And I gotta get this knowledge out to the people. So here it is. Yeah, it was real. Shimmered and sealed their fate. Such was the power that even the Orishas felt it in the heaven. It worried them. Hunger and poverty walked out of the forest hand in hand. They felt much stronger together. The Asobos followed them. The troubles followed them. Knowing that their strength would weaken the world and they would find power, the Orishas in heaven looked down on the earth. They knew the world was changing and soon it would be their time. They watched and waited. Now, this has a lot to do with what the Orishas are. The Orishas are the forces of nature and planetary existence. There are constellations and stars. And when we say this, people are like, oh, you worshiping? No. You got it backwards. Each of them are an attribute of the Creator's power. Oludumare. Olu, Allah. Olu. Yeah, Allah. Thank you, sister. I got a witness. Thank you. A shadow. So, the seven heads, the seven African powers. This is now we into some Yoruba studies now, which is the origins of Odu. These seven African powers, these seven chakras, the seven sounds that run the universe. These are the seven Orishas. These are the seven archangels. They have English names, Latin names, Canaanite names, and they got Yoruba names. So now, you can take all seven angels that's in your Bible and you put them right there, and that's the seven Orishas. Okay? Each one of them has a particular rotation that comes through on the planet at different times and incarnates. God doesn't play games. Everything's in order. When it says the Orishas are looking down and awaiting their time, meaning we're waiting for our season, because there's a life cycle and there's a death cycle. There is no renewal without what? Decline. The story is about to change. Okay. Suffering doubled in the world that night. This is when the world went into darkness. Hand in hand, poverty, hunger wandered the earth, and they traveled to towns that they had already seen. Let us go to Elibo, said Poverty, remembering how inviting the town remembering how inviting the town has seemed when he tried to settle there. I went there once, I wanted to settle, but just as I made my home, all the townspeople rose up and worked hard to drive me away. I so wanted to live there. It was such a wealthy town. His eyes were glazed and dreamy as he spoke to Hunger, and Hunger agreed to visit with his new friend. Yet Hunger did not like what he saw. The town of Ilubu is too small, my friend. I remember once a place called Ashogbo. It was thriving, sitting on the trade routes that ran from Ile-Ife to Oyo. Anything a man wanted to eat could be found there, and I tried to eat it all, but those wretched humans drove me out when they felt my pangs. I wanted to go back there. Poverty agreed, and they wandered to Ashogbo. Everyone trembled when poverty came. The town coffers went dry and trade slowed to a standstill. For the first time, people felt hunger. Still the town, the staple, still the town, we skip that part. We're going to go on to 75. And then I'm going to go on and tell you who said what. 75, and then we get to page 76 and we end this. Shango represents Christ. Michael, if you want to see the correlations in the Yoruba tradition of Shango, who is the spirit of retribution, the spirit of the vocal power, thunder. One who brings awareness through sound waves, through retribution, and through also the raising, and also something that people don't know, Shango protects young children. I know, I'm a drummer. I work with children. Yeah, because you kind of figured, right? So, Shango, that particular Orisha, and the tradition that you know, Canaanite, Christian, Judeo tradition, is known as Michael. Michael said to Obatala, God figure, right? And that would be Metatron, right? Shango, or Michael, said to the head of the angelic realm, yo, we can't stand for this. So he stood up and said, okay, fine, but I will handle this the proper way. We go on and I'll finish reading the story. This cannot be allowed to continue, he said to himself, quietly so no one could hear him slip into town. And this is Obatala. Oba means king, Tala means most high king. The most high king of the heavens said this cannot be allowed to continue, talking with Shango, and he slowly slipped into town. Watch how he does it. By morning he found the two friends. He stood before poverty and hunger, his aged body shaking and trembling in mortal form. Still he held a single hand up with a voice as pure and as strong as the Ashe of heaven commanded, and said, stop. Now let me explain Obatala. Obatala represents purity, represents cleaning, the clarity of consciousness, the cleanliness of an environment, the mind and the body. So he walked slowly. See, everything in Africa, though it is a symbol, it is a state of consciousness. It is not someone just worshiping a spirit in a shrine. And no, that's an outward expression. So he slips in, he speaks to him. And listen what poverty and hunger said to the Most High Spirit. After he told him to stop, poverty and hunger giggled before him. For behind them stood all misfortunes of creation. Behind poverty and hunger stands all misfortunes of what? Creation. And he said to the old man, Obatala, the man in all white, standing there, elderly, you have no power here, old man, said poverty. We stand on the shoulders of all the Asobos, all the troubles in the world. Our Ashe here is great. Go back to heaven where you belong. Go back to the higher realm where you belong. Yes, said Hunger, the mortal core is weak, where we stand, and behind us are all the misfortunes of the world follow. Human eyes turn away from heaven when they are poor and hungry. Oh, there it is. I was waiting for that statement. Human eyes turn away from the Creator when they're hungry. People want to know why we acting like murderers and thieves and all types of ill behaviors. They hungry. The soul, it ain't a physical hunger. Y'all know what it's like when you get into the groove of something you love and you like. You ain't thinking about eating.
Oh, yeah.
Right now we building and learning. There ain't a damn thought come to us about eating. That's what it's like when you in trance doing what you're supposed to do. When you get in in football, they say you're getting in the what? You're in the zone. When you get in the zone, you ain't thinking about no hunger. Right? So that's what they're doing. They're keeping you from going in your zone. They keep you hungry. They keep you starving. You want more, but you can't what? You can't get it. Because what you're really trying to get, you're trying to get this back. You're trying to get your soul back. I'll get you. You're trying to get that back. You hungry. We all are. I'm very hungry. Shango, yes I am. So, right? I'm hungry. Watch what he said. And this is a deep one. And if you understand the symbols of what's being said is, yes, said hunger, the mortal core is weak where we stand, and behind us all the misfortunes of the world follow. Human eyes turn away from heaven when they are poor and hungry. And without eyes to see the light, can there be anything but darkness? 15 troubles encircled Obatala. 15 Osobos encircled Obatala as Iku moved to stand between poverty and hunger, as death moved to stand between poverty and hunger. Okay. Between poverty and hunger, there can only be death. They bring darkness and desperation. They weaken the human will and succumb to evil. What can you do to us now, old man? Now remember, Obatala is the one standing in all white. That's you. Now you understand why we wear all white. All white has nothing to do with, white means, white represents the vibration of purity. And we're not talking about Europe, white people. No, we're not talking about none of that. The white cloth, this is where they get the whole concept of showing you the saints and the angels wearing all white. It comes from you. You started that. You started that. The concept of beings with white robes on, walking with gold on. There's only one place where you got that much gold. And there's only one place where you're going to have white linen and white cotton. It's you. The old man is standing with all white on, holding gold. Now listen to this, because if you ever seen a picture, depiction of Obatala, according to the Yoruba tradition, it is all white. The drink even for Obatala is, was it rum? White rum at that, clear rum. Mm-hmm. Okay? All royalty. There's the scent always high in vibration. Here it is. What can you do to us, old man? Obatala stiffened before poverty and hunger, and he felt his mortal form grow heavy as they were near. But still he found the strength to gesture to heaven. And this is what he said. I can make evil. I can make supplication. I can make sacrifice. I can make prayer. Now, what does he mean when he says sacrifice and prayer? Some people just think about this a solemn prayer. No. Some people just think he's talking about that's a mere sacrifice of an animal. Sacrifice meaning letting go of the worldly possessions. Letting go and tuning into the voice of God within you. Talking to the higher part of your existence. Going back to get your ancestral knowledge. I can return back to where I come from. I can speak to the spirits in the cosmos. I can speak to nature. That's what he meant when he said, I can make evil. I can gather all the spirits of heaven behind my back as poverty and hunger gather the troubles behind theirs. But more importantly, I can bring hope to the world. Obatala glowed with a preternatural light, a soft but warm glow that pushed away the troubles. He was light. Iku was the darkness, and soon poverty and hunger stood alone, trembling. Woo! Water. trembling together. As Obatala forms gleam to tower above them, you cannot separate us, old man. We made a pact at the feet of the Oruku. Obatala crossed his hands over his chest and looked beyond the light to see the troubles cowering about among the shadows of the trees. There's a white hot fire in his eyes, and in fear they fled. Still poverty and hunger stood firm before him. They shook, but stood their ground. Their true pacts cannot be broken. But foolish pacts have a way, let's see, read it 76, have a way of recoiling against those who make them.
Right off the Broadway sub-stop, Philadelphia, PA. Shot so loud you would think it was a club spot. African Americans, although we all over the web, we the hood librarians. We ship to prisons too. We reach out and deliver to those that's bitten too, but it's more than a bookstore. You want it, we got it. Mixtapes, DVDs, and culture products. Black and Nobel got our hands in a lot of projects. We welcome all to come build. The energy is positive. And remember, other teams is awakened conscious. Come through and experience this place of knowledge. They say they'll put it in a book if they wanna hide it from us. But we got them books so you can buy it from us. Something to read while you on a train or riding the bus. Get your read on, food for thought, get your eat on. Black and Nobel, I buy my books at Black and Nobel. Black and Nobel, I buy my books at Black and Nobel. Black and Nobel, I buy my books at Black and Nobel.